my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. Man, it's just like I was racing to get here. I mean, like you just have no idea. With 9 minutes to go, less than 9 minutes to go, technically, because I didn't even have my shoes on. Had to go out and make a quick video for you and get it in here and get it edited and put into this thing. Whew. I have about 6 videos. They're all very short videos for you to watch today. 5 of them are really good. The 6th one, the last one, the one that I made this morning. Now, it wasn't the one I ran out real quick to make. The one I made this morning is a real bummer. It's a real bummer. It's like a nightmare to me. I'm really bummed about it, in fact. So it's really hard to even keep smiling right now. But anyway, on the good side of the news, the Kawasaki Mule came back. We got it back Saturday. And they didn't charge me anything. Did they fix anything? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, the next time it does what it does, you know. They claim they fixed it, but we'll see. At least they didn't charge me this time. Of course, I already paid for exactly what they did this time. I paid for that the first time. So let's see what happens. Briefly, Friday, I went out metal detecting, and just for a little while, and in one of the back fields, I found a bunch of bullets, but I don't think any of them were Civil War. One of them possibly could be. And then I did find another harmonica reed, or a piece of a harmonica reed, which could also be Civil War, because I found so many harmonica reeds and pieces of them, and those Civil War soldiers, you know, most of them probably were carrying a harmonica to monkey around with in the evening, you know, when they're sitting around the campfire or whatever. I was really super busy over the weekend. In fact, I think that might be what caused me to lose some weight finally. According to the scale on Saturday, I was down to 205. According to the scale this morning, I'm at 206. Just hit one step forward, 2 steps back. But anyway, at least that's better than 209, which is last week. So I'm hoping it'll just drop on down and we'll get down to that 190. That's where I'm going, one way or the other. Well, here's the first little video clip for you. This was could have been eventful, but fortunately it wasn't. Here we go. I don't know if this will show. You can see the blue sky here, I think, and then you can see how brown it's becoming. That is smoke. There is definitely a big fire somewhere, and it's headed our direction based on the way the smoke's coming this way. So that ain't good. I guess I better be on the lookout just in case I see it start to come through the woods. I'll be up there with the bobcat plowing a big furrow if that's the case to stop the fire. But right now, I don't know of any problem. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, yesterday I said that there was a lot of smoke in the air. Yeah, it's really bad this morning. In fact, last night it was bad in the house. I could smell it in the house. So at like 3 in the morning, I got in the Ranger, drove down here, looked up the valley to make sure I didn't see any flames. But I think I'm going to drive back there and see if it's made it to our property. Because if it has, I'm going to need to get the bobcat out and do some work. Well, I'm not all the way to the back of our property. In fact, here's where the back pond is, right there. And side note, I just saw 3 deer run right across this field right here into these cedars. And I don't see any sign of actual smoke arising like out of the woods. This is just smoke lingering. It's smoke everywhere. but I don't see like any active fire sign, like, you know, you would see a plume of smoke going up in the sky. I don't see anything like that, so I think we're okay. I think this is just atmospheric conditions that they were probably doing a control burn back on the national forest, and it's just lingering in the air is probably what I think it is. Hard to say for sure. Yep, that's what it was. But man, it had me going there in the wee morning hours. I would, you know, when I smelled all that smoke, I thought, man, that may have jumped the fence, you know, and come on our property. I was at 3 in the morning. I was ready to fire up the Bobcat and start plowing. But fortunately, I didn't have to do that. And the smoke went away and everything's fine. So, here's a little video clip. Now, this first video clip, you know, I mean, these clips were made actually days apart. But the first one I show you is me doing some work. And the second one kind of talks about doing the work again. So it's a little bit of a recap there on the second video. But there's a purpose to the second one too. So I'm going to show you, here's the first video and let you see what I did. So you can see there I dug a trench, and in order to do something with that trench, you got to do, that's just always the beginning of a project. That's never the end of it. So I'm going to have to pack some gravel in there, flatten it out, and I'm going to extend my retaining wall down through there. And here's part 2 of that. Well, my friends, over the weekend here, I decided to dig this out for my next retaining wall extension. I'm going to bring that retaining wall around this curve and down to about here somewhere. And I just used my little mini skid steer excavator to do that. And I'm letting it dry out because it was really, really wet. And so I just wanted to dig it out ahead of time to give it time to dry out. But also today, coincidentally, today was the last day that Menards has their 11% off on everything. So I thought, well, I better go get some more block. I already have about a half a pallet way up there, but I thought I'm going to need more than a half a pallet for sure. or maybe I might even have 2/3 of a pallet. I'm not sure. But this is a full pallet here. And then I've got some more capstones. Now I just get to unload it. Won't that be fun? Yeah, it was fun. Trust me, those things are heavy. Those capstones, you would not believe how heavy those suckers are. I think they're compressed concrete or something. I mean, they are seriously heavy. And I did it. Anyway, after the hauling of the block, these aren't necessarily in chronological order, but I kind of think in this case it might be. I can't remember. But then I had another big project up in the woods this time. Now, this one was life-threatening. But fortunately, you can see I'm still alive, so there you go. Whoops, I clicked on it. It didn't go. I'm trying to pull that great big cedar tree back here, this big tall one. And I'm trying to pull it with ropes, and I've got it pulled to the with a pulley up here on this tree and then connected to the Ranger. Let's see if it works. Well, we have a potentially dangerous situation. Every time you fall a tree, it's dangerous. The tree's leaning this way quite a bit, but this dead snag is holding it. I already had to cut one limb off that tree to get another tree down. I guess I'll cut the rest of that down, but that's going to be spooky. I don't know what to do. Can't leave it like it is. Bummer, dude.
Well, as dangerous as that was and could have been, I think I did well. So there you go. Don't try this at home.
Seriously, don't try it at home. It doesn't even look as scary there, you know, on the video as it is when you're standing underneath those two trees that are about to fall. And there's two of them going to fall now, you know. And it's a steeper hillside than the video shows again. That hillside is so steep that, yeah, it's, you know, you're just fighting it all the time. The whole time you're just to stand up. So it's scary, trust me. Anyway, let's see. After that, well, here's the little, you know, I told you with just 9 minutes to go, or actually less, I made this little tiny video clip for you, just so you could see the results of some of that.
Well, here's the pile of cedar logs that I cut over the weekend. It's, I don't know, I think there's 13 there. Only about 7 or 8 of them are any good for lumber. The other ones will make small posts. But, you know, I'll be getting back on the sawmill before long because I need a lot more lumber to finish up the water wheel house.
Got so many videos I have to scroll up the screen to get back to the camera so I can get back to you. Well, I do have one more video clip. This is the one that I made earlier this morning, and this one's a real bummer for me. I mean, this is a major bummer. I mean, like, seriously, I'm not kidding. It's a bummer.
Well, my friends, I had to do it again. I had to take off this cover. Then I had to take off that great big housing there, and there's a lot of bolts in that. I bet you there's 12 bolts in that at least. Then I had to pull out this little plug here, and then I had to get the flywheel off and the stator off and replace all that. Here's the old stator here, and you can see it's chipped up. It's really in bad shape. Yeah, it's the top of this is knocked off. It's just a mess. Yeah, it's completely bad. And the old flywheel on the inside, you can see the magnets in there are just messed up big time. And even the teeth on the flywheel are worn a little. They're not real bad, but they're worn. You can see the angle on them. And anyway, so I got a new flywheel, new stator put on there. I have not tried to start it yet. And then I don't know if it's going to charge. That would just be awesome if it would just automatically start charging. But what do you think the odds of that are? All right, let me put it back together here and we'll start. Okay, I have not started it yet, so this will be the first time to start it. Let's see what happens. Well, that ain't good. Usually starts right up, so I wonder if those wires on the new stator are causing some kind of problem. Oh man, that ain't good. It usually starts right up. Oh man, that's just not good at all. I wonder why it's doing that. There's a plug-in, and guess what? My new stator, the plug-in on my new stator, the little clip to hold it in tight broke. So, who knows if that's the problem? It's way back in there. I don't know if you can see that clip. It's right there. Anyway, it just doesn't ever stop.
Hit the wrong button. Anyway, that's a bummer. That's a major bummer. Yeah, I did not expect that. I wasn't expecting it to charge, but I was expecting it to start. I don't know why it's not starting. Now, the first thought, I mean, obviously it started just fine before I changed those parts, before I changed the stator and I changed the flywheel, and it started fine before that. So the only thing I can think of is somehow or another that And I don't even know how this would affect it, but somehow or another that flywheel's out of time, and I don't see how it could be because it's got a slot, a keyed slot, and you can't put it back together if you don't get it in the keyed slot, and I got it back together, no problem. The stator, it's got, six or so wires. I don't even know how many wires. I'm just making that up, but at least 4 wires. I'm sure it's got at least 4. And the plug that was on the Ranger seemed to plug right into it just fine, except that, that little extra clip that you're supposed to, that it locks into place, and that little clip locks it in place. Well, that little clip was broke off. It was broke upon arrival when I got the new stator, wouldn't you know. But other than, I can't think of why that's not starting. I mean, it always starts. That's been the most reliable machine for starting I've ever seen. Oh, if I had to take it all apart, it wouldn't be so bad if you could get to it, but it's not easy to get to. That's why I didn't bother filming it. It's so hard to get into the darn thing. So I am totally bummed out now because I can't do nothing around here without that Ranger. Honestly, it's just the truth. I mean, like even, like you saw there cutting down that tree. I needed it for that even. I mean, and I'm, to haul my tools around to do the jobs that I'm doing around here. This place is too big to walk to everything, and then you forget, oh, I forgot a screwdriver. Now you got to walk all the way back to the shop to get a screwdriver. It's just not feasible. You got to have the dang Ranger. Oh, I am so frustrated with that now. When get the Kawasaki working and now the Ranger quit. Well, anyway, let's see who's here. I'll try to cheer up. It's really hard to cheer up, though. Anyway, David Tharp says, howdy, everybody. Went to the Oreo website Friday. I clicked accept all cookies. I'm still waiting. I never thought to try that. That's a good idea. David Tharp, yesterday I met a man who had written a book on penguins. He said, in hindsight, it would have been much easier to use paper. Oh. I wonder how he kept them still while he was writing. Let's see. Rod Wentler, I am confused. I thought we all moved our clocks ahead an hour, but the vlog is not scheduled until an hour later than the usual time. Does Missouri not observe the time change? Well, as far as I know, we're on time. I moved my clocks ahead, although I have to tell you, I did forget about that. And this morning, I thought I had plenty of time. And then when I looked at my phone, it was an hour ahead of me, and I went, uh-oh, I forgot that the time changed. So I was actually late getting out there this morning to start my working. Ben Boyd, this one is for you, David. I drank some invisible ink by mistake today. I'm at the hospital waiting to be seen. Sounds like me. When I went to the hospital, that emergency room that time with the nail in my hand, I had to sit there for 3 hours waiting to be seen with a nail sticking through 3 knuckles. That was a bummer, man. Rod Wentler, it isn't kind to bewilder the old and feeble of mind. It isn't kind to bewilder the old and feeble of mind. Well, I kind of can relate to the last 2 parts of that. Let's see. David Tharp, I knew a mechanic who was addicted to brake fluid. I never know where he's going with these things. But he insists that he can stop anytime he wants to. Yeah, I got that one. Rod Wentler, am I the only one confused by the vlog saying live in 83 minutes? I think so. Let's see. Dottie Hildebrand, prayers for all the Rosa group, praying for our hands and their health. Boy, we need it right now. Speaking of hands, Do you see that cut right there? It don't look like much now, but that little sucker, it laid open. I'm not lying. It was that wide. As soon as I cut it, it went that wide. And it wasn't real deep, but it went that wide. You could see all the white stuff in there. And what happened was I was putting my chainsaw away in I've got shelves in the shop, or in the end of the machine shed there, and I was setting the chainsaw up on a shelf, and the metal bracket that holds the shelf up right above where I was putting the saw slid my hand in there between the saw and that bracket, and the bracket won. Man, it sliced that sucker right open. So I've been holding that shut for 2 days now with Band-Aids, and I thought I'd just, while I'm doing the vlog here, I'm not working, so I thought I'd take the Band-Aid off and let it get a little air. Yeah. I bleed easy too, just that's a side note. You might imagine how much I was bleeding on that sucker. It's an inch long cut, and it was nearly a 1/4 inch wide when it opened up. Eric, my wife says I have an inner child. I don't think it's mine. Eric, and I think Jerry was after cash for his timing. And I think Jerry was after cash for his timing. Okay, not sure how I tie that together. Let's see. Bill Webb, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. And good afternoon back to you. Bill Rhodes says, did I wake up in the Twilight Zone? I don't know. I feel like I live there. Either that or I live in Groundhog Day, because it seems like just as soon as I get something fixed, I'm fixing it again or fixing something else. That's all I'm good for, is just fixing stuff. That's all I do. David Tharp, where does chocolate come from? It comes from cocoa, which is a tree. A tree is a plant, so officially chocolate is salad. From that perspective, yeah, I agree. Bill Webb, yay, we don't have to wait till 2 o'clock. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I don't control any of that stuff, you know. That's on the YouTube side of the house. They probably just didn't get something straightened out yet. Bill Mumbo, nearly caught me out sneaky an hour earlier across the pond. Yeah, I was wondering how many people would actually catch it today, because I figure there's probably a lot of people in other countries and you know, just even places in the U.S. that don't observe, you know, the time change. So anyway, I kind of like daylight savings time myself. I kind of prefer it over the standard time. But anyway, people complain about the change all the time. It's been doing that. I've been alive 70 years. As far as I know, it's done it every year that I've been alive. So I'm just kind of used to it. It don't really bother me too much. I don't know. I got other things that bother me, though. Trust me. Preston Johnson, hey, Jerry, can you put your drone up and check the fire? Well, yeah, that drone and me are just not getting along these days. But, yeah, I could have. That's a good idea. I could have done that, but fortunately, we're in the green. Let's see. Gino Hitch, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Got you on my phone, but can't seem to get you on my TV. What's new? Well, I don't know why that is. Sometimes you got to shut your TV down and restart it. You might even have to reset it. You just never know. I'm assuming you have the YouTube app on your TV, and there's ways you can watch it without the YouTube app, but I would assume you have the YouTube app, and I would think it would just work. Often, though, more than once, I've had to reset my YouTube app itself. And in fact, I've had to uninstall it and reinstall it more than once to fix problems with the YouTube app on my TV. So for what it's worth, it may be something like that. Ben Boyd, I went to a beginner bluegrass workshop at Springdale, Arkansas this weekend with my mandolin. The teacher said that I was doing great for only playing a few months, thanks to you. Well, that's nice to hear, and I'm sure glad you're doing well there, Ben. Hang in there, man. Just keep going. You'll get it. Steve Walden, Gino, get the, okay, YouTube app. Okay, there was no question marks there. Gary Hayden, Jerry, what can be done about mandolin finish that has crazing short of a refinish? Well, while the videos were playing, I noticed that comment, and so I looked up what crazing is, and according to what I found out, crazing is cracking, I guess. Well, I'll tell you, Gary, this is me talking. It's my opinion, my 10 cents worth. I wouldn't worry about it at all. If your finish is cracking, that's a sign you probably have a pretty good finish. And it's probably a good acoustical finish. A finish that doesn't crack is almost more worrisome to me because that means that finish is soft and it's expanding and contracting with the instrument. And that's like laying a blanket on your instrument and yeah, it's just going to deaden your sound. So if your finish is cracking, I know it doesn't look great, but honestly, it's more of a positive than it is a negative to me. You know, I get it. I don't like the look of it either. Don't get me wrong, but usually that's a sign that it's a good finish. So there you go. Take it for what it's worth. I wouldn't refinish it if it were me. That's just me. Wayne Blitz says hello, and I say hello. Bill Mumbo, vlog 666, your tempting fate. That's what I was saying in the title there, especially after the way this morning went. Yeah, I've changed that stator before. This is at least the third stator I've put in this thing. And I've never had a problem with it starting that I can remember. Oh, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. And GNP Old Marine Shop. Hi, Jerry. Good to see you can still run at 70. Well, I can't quite run 70, but no, I get what you're saying. No, I can run pretty daggum fast, actually. You'd be surprised. That was one thing I always could do is run. That's one of my better attributes in terms of physical attributes. I could always run real well. Newton Horn, my side-by-side required mashing brake pedal to start. Yeah, well, I was doing all that. It just wasn't starting. But it doesn't really require it anyway, I don't think. But I always do. I don't know. Maybe it does require it. I'm just out of habit. I stand on the brake whenever I start it because a lot of times it's in gear and it'll roll forward if you don't have the brake on. Paul Lanier, hi folks, no clouds to be seen in Louisiana. Very interesting. Okay, nice blue sky then, I guess, huh? Scott Roberts, Jerry, is it easy being you? No. Well, I'll tell you what. I actually cut those logs over 2 mornings. The first morning, I got, I think, 7 logs the first morning and 6 logs the next morning. And after I got those 7, it almost killed me. I ain't kidding you. I could barely do anything the rest of the day. That's how tough it was. It just kind of goes in spurts in terms of how tough, like everything that can seems to go wrong all at once whenever it's going to be a problem, and that day one, I was thinking, I'll never be able to cut any more logs up there. It's just too hard. The hill's so steep, and the brush and trying to clear everything out of the way where you can walk and keep the trail open to drive through and all those issues. It almost killed me the first day. Yesterday, when I went out there, it didn't hurt me too bad. I was easy. I got through those, even though I had to do all that extra work to pull the tree down with the Ranger. It didn't hurt me so bad. Day one, it was torture. Day one, It was real torture. Jeff Purist doesn't have any question marks. He says, I used to fix lots of old stuff. I had a saying, SDLFE, stuff don't last forever. You know what? Most things these days don't even last through the first usage. I shouldn't say most things, but, a lot of things are pretty poorly constructed these days. Gino Hitch, so you got the Kawasaki working good. Yes, it is working. And Sue uses it, so it's not available to me most of the time, although we do actually have another small four-wheeler, and Sue uses that a lot too. So, if I had to have it, I could definitely use the Kawasaki, but Newton horn, but by the way, the Kawasaki is not nearly as powerful as the old Ranger, and it won't haul near the load that the old Ranger hauls. Bo Horn says, Paul, beautiful day here in Ruston, Louisiana. Well, that's cool. It's a nice day here, it looks like. Haven't seen much of it because I was in the shop there working on the Ranger this morning. I was really hoping I could get the charging system to work again. That's the main reason I changed what I changed. And wouldn't you know, not only, I don't know if that's working, but definitely can't tell because it won't start. Oh, it just drives me nuts. G&P, Old Marine Shop. Jerry, we had a little wildfire scare on Long Island, about 600 acres, one small building gone. Well, that's in New York, right? Long Island. I saw on some news clips that New York was experiencing apparently quite a few wildfires. That's not good. Bill Rhodes, Jerry, when I first clicked on the log yesterday, it said it wasn't going to be until 2 o'clock. Okay. Kim Williford, chocolate is no matter how you break it. Okay. Not yesterday, today. Okay. Gotcha. That's what I thought you meant. Rod Wintler says, thumbs up. Yeah, if you would, please click the thumbs up. There's Jeshko or Jekko 46. How does Itchy Boots get the drone footage if she is all alone in the desert? She can actually operate her drone while she's riding her motorcycle. She's good at it. She's very good at it. And honestly, they're not that hard to operate. Mine's been more mechanical issues, getting it to work with the phone, getting it to, and I'll tell you where my real problem is, and it's the biggest problem, is I can't see the doggone screen when I go outside. I can't see it at all. It's like it's a blank slate. It's like, how do you operate the thing? You can't see nothing to operate it. And I'm not making that up. I'm seriously telling you, I can't see nothing. Turn the video all the way up. I can't maybe just see the least little shadow of something, and I just can't see it. So whenever I operate it, I have to be standing inside a building in order for me to see it. And I don't know if it's just my color blindness, if it's the fact that I'm night blind, and I don't know what causes it, but I can't see the screen. That's 90% of my problem right there. I can fly just fine inside the building, no problem at all. It's nuts. Did you ever hear it's not easy being me? You ought to try it for just about an hour. I guarantee you'd give it back. Let's see. It's nuts. It really is nuts. It's just nuts. Okay, Steve Walden's, he doesn't have any question marks, but he said the show started at 11 a.m. PST time in California. Eric says, Google had the timing to start the vlog listed an hour later than it actually started. Bad thing. Yeah, it's all up to Google and YouTube. I got no control over that. I just say start it when I want to start it, I don't know if Google is in a zone where they don't do daylight savings time, and maybe they didn't think to fix that, in time for today. You know what I mean? So they'll fix it. I'm sure they'll fix it. It's just one of them deals. One of those hurdles you got to go through twice a year. Bill Mumbo Kermit says it's not easy being green. Well, I can only imagine that. Fortunately, I don't know. I might be green because I can't tell colors. David Tharp says thumbs up. Please, everybody do that. Kim Williford, checking the timing on the Rangers. Something has to be wrong there. Yeah, obviously it must have something to do with what I did this morning. But I can't think of a reason why. I honestly wouldn't think that the stator would have anything to do with it starting. I wouldn't think. I mean, other than, the stator's for charging the system. And maybe for keeping spark, too. I don't know. It may not be getting spark. So that'll be the thing I'll be checking when I go back down there. But I tell you what, it's bumming me out, man. Because I was needing to use that thing. I got a lot of jobs to do. Yeah, Kim, I had a feeling, Kim, that's where you were going with your chocolate comment there. Yeah, it's hard to not like chocolate, My grandson Trinian, because he's got the same taste disorder that I have, he's way worse than I am. Now, the reason I might be better, though, if I think about it, was my parents would literally beat me till I tried something. My dad, he'd just lay into me with a belt. If I didn't, if I'd sit there and say, no, I'm not going to eat that, well, he'd, lay into me. So basically, I tried pretty much everything as a kid. And 99% of it I hated. And Trinian, my grandson, of course, his parents don't treat him like that, and he won't try hardly anything. I mean, like chocolate. He wouldn't eat chocolate for the longest time. I mean, I had to coax him into it. I said, look, Trinian, don't you get it? I have the same taste as you have. If I like chocolate, you're going to like it. And finally, he would taste it. But I still cannot get that boy to taste a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. To me, that was the best thing on the planet when I was his age. I mean, there was nothing better. And he won't even taste it. You can't get him to. It's amazing. But seriously, when you have this kind of taste, trust me, you're not likely to put something in your mouth that you don't know what the taste of it. I mean, honestly, you have no idea. It's so much stronger taste than the average person. Again, I don't know the numbers. I remember reading it, but it was a long time ago. I'm just making this up, so don't hold these numbers. But say the average person has 1,000 taste buds. Well, we have something like 8,000 taste buds. I mean, it's like way more. And so, like, if you think you can taste well, just think if you took that times 8, and then you would, and then the real negative is that we taste chlorophyll. And that ain't good. Kim Williford, thanks, Paul. How are you? I'm still. Oh, by the way, in regarding to taste, Sue keeps going, why aren't you eating my duck eggs? Because I've been fixing my own breakfast every morning since somebody suggested that I should eat breakfast and not supper, because I had it the other way around. Well, she keeps going, why aren't you eating the duck eggs? Well, I mean, they're okay. I can eat duck eggs. They're fine, but they're way stronger than chicken eggs. So I like the chicken eggs better, I haven't actually said that to Sue yet. She might hear it on this vlog. You never know. But the point is that the duck eggs are really strong compared to the chicken eggs. When you can taste like I can taste, everything matters. Trust me. Kim Williford. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that one already. Moving on down. Well, here she is again. Says, try cottage cheese and apple butter. That was one of my favorite. Cottage cheese? Are you kidding me? Apple butter I like. I like that a lot. Now, you won't get Trinian to try it, I don't think. But I like apple butter a whole lot. Yeah, Trinian's way worse than me in terms of eating stuff. Way worse. Sky Roberts, pretty much everything tastes good to me. That's probably why I have a weight problem. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, well, I'm not going to read around Heifer's comment there, but anyway, see, Felipe de Olivier, wow, relation finally taking place in front of our eyes. 101, I can say I saw the best and its number. I don't know what you mean there. Revelation. Okay. Oh, you mean the number of this video, the 666? I don't know what you mean. I'm not really sure. Kim Williford, have a great day, Jerry. Sorry to have to go now. Well, don't feel sorry because I got to go too. Thank you all for being here. 131 viewers found it, even though the time changed. So thank you all for being here. If you would, please click the thumbs up. I'm going to hopefully get that Ranger going today, I hope. And I'll have more for you tomorrow. So please see me tomorrow about 1 o'clock.